Hi everybody, this is Jay Moore. I'm the founder of the group The Ordinary Christian. And today I wanted just to encourage you with a Bible verse talking about how you can magnify Christ in your part of this dark world, how you can make Jesus bigger and give more and more attention and focus so that Jesus is seen by more and more people. The Ordinary Christian is been started and founded in order to encourage, equip, and empower God's people to brightly shine the light of Christ in their part of this dark world. And so I just want to encourage you today. Right now, for the last 2 days, and again tomorrow, me and my son are over in Dallas, Texas at the Maranatha Global End Time Summit. And we are having a great time fellowshipping with other believers and learning things that are going on around us to help us live lives that are prepared for the return of our King when he chooses to come back. One of the things that I was reading today, and it just really hit me hard, was about how John the Baptist was used by God to do some really powerful things. And so I want to read to you from John chapter 3, starting with verse 22, and pick out some principles that can help you begin to see how John was able to magnify Christ even greater through his ministry. Listen to what it says. It says, after these things, Jesus and his disciples came into the land of Judea, and there he was spending time with them baptizing. John was also baptizing in near Salem because there was much water there, and people were coming and were being baptized. For John had not yet been thrown into prison. Therefore, there arose a discussion on the part of John's disciples with a Jew about purification. And they came to John and said to him, Rabbi, he who was with you beyond the Jordan, to whom you have testified, behold, he is baptizing, and all are coming to him. And John answered and said, a man can receive nothing unless it is given to him from heaven. You yourselves are my witness that I said that I am not the Christ, but that I have been sent ahead, and he who has the bride is the bridegroom. But the friend of the bridegroom who stands and hears him rejoices greatly because of the bridegroom's voice. So this joy of mine has been made full. He must increase and I must decrease. And it's a wonderful story about how John viewed his ministry, especially in light of Jesus and the growing popularity and movement that people were coming more and more to Jesus and less to him. And I mean, here we got, the ministries of Jesus and the John the Baptist are now beginning to rub up next to each other, not collide with each other as if they were in competition, but rubbing up next to each other. They're both in the same area, teaching and baptizing. Both are together. And then, so this discussion comes from some of the disciples of John to John about, here's the Jesus that you told us about. He was baptized by you, and you said he was to come, and you directed everything to him. But John, he's baptizing more people than you. Everybody's going to him now. There's almost like this sense of concern that John's disciples have for him about his diminishing popularity among the people and Jesus's growing popularity. And almost like they're wanting to come to John's defense in some way. And so here we have John's response to it. And he reminds them and says, well, you yourself is the one who's saying, I told you I wasn't the Christ. I'm not the main guy. This Jesus, he's the main guy. And I'm just like the best man at the wedding. I'm not the bridegroom. The one who has the bride, he's the bridegroom. The reason why more people are going to Jesus is because he's the bridegroom and they're the bride. And so I'm the best man standing next to him, like we are right now, doing ministry together, rubbing up against each other. And I'm rejoicing that, because that's what the bridegroom, that's what the best man does. The best man rejoices at the the joy of the celebration of the bridegroom and the bride coming together. He sees it and he's happy. He's happy for the bridegroom, seeing his bride come to him. And then he uses this really important phrase I think we need to take to heart. And that is, he must increase and I must decrease. He must increase, but I must decrease. So we're talking about how to magnify Christ better, how to magnify Christ bigger in the eyes of the people. I think one of the biggest roadblocks, hindrances to us magnifying Christ greatly, tremendously, is ourselves and our own sense of what our importance is. That God has been using us to do some wonderful, powerful things. But as people are coming to faith through our ministry, they're coming to faith in Christ, we have this sense that our popularity, our significance, our importance, the size of our ministry needs to continue to increase, when it's exactly really the opposite. If we're truly wanting to magnify Christ, not magnify ourselves, not magnify our own importance, then we must intentionally decrease in the eyes of the people we've reached, into the eyes of the world, so that Christ can be magnified even more. Understanding when is it time for us to back off from the people that we have reached for Christ, the people we have discipled for Christ. When is it appropriate for us to remove our hands off of them, maybe even completely, and so that they can begin to grow in their own personal walk with Christ, apart from us helping them along. But in order to do that, we got to do an attitude check. Why are we doing the ministry we're doing? I think most of us start off with all the right reasons. It's because we want to be obedient to Christ. But are we holding on to this ministry and maybe even pining in some way the diminishing effects of our ministry, because for some way we have found our own personal identity in the ministry we do, instead of our identity being in Christ and our identity in magnifying Christ, making him bigger. And so sometimes we just are the biggest blockage, roadblock, hindrance for Christ being magnified through us. So I want to encourage you. Remember that in all things, Christ needs to be magnified. He must increase. We need to make him bigger. And in order to do that, then we need to, in our own eyes and also in the eyes of other people, diminish our own importance, scale back our importance to the point where eventually we fade out of the picture and the only thing that's left is Christ magnified. All right, that's my devotional. Think about it, pray about it. Hey, if you find this video encouraging, maybe even somewhat, empowering, hit the like button and also subscribe to this channel. Let other people know about the Ordinary Christian, because we exist to empower, encourage, and equip ordinary Christians to live powerful missional lives that brightly shine the light of Christ. Take care. God bless you. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.